Gimme more from the trial against disgraced music mogul Sean Combs. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything Diddy drama. I've already made 2 videos today. Make sure to watch those to be fully caught up. We resume with more testimony from his personal assistant, Jonathan Perez. Earlier in his testimony, Perez told the jury that he would sometimes set up Diddy's king nights and often clean up after them. However, later today, he said that that fell under personal instead of work-related. He confirmed that it had nothing to do with his work, and he didn't believe he was getting paid to do those things. So he did it out of the kindness of his heart for his friend. If your boss is telling you to do these things, that's work-related, bruh. Clearly, that was under cross-examination. We've moved on to that phase. Jonathan was asked how he feels about Diddy now. He says, "I feel great about him, the same way I felt when I was leaving my employment." Perez reveals that he voluntarily left back in September of last year. Quote, "There was a lot going on personally for Mr. Combs, and there wasn't a lot of communication about what was happening. So I thought it was a good time to leave to hopefully avoid a situation like this." Perez testified that Jane took an active role in planning the King Nights. She enjoyed wearing Tom Ford shorts and underwear during these getaways and made sure to visit a salon so that her hair was in the best shape, Perez said during cross-examination. Perez also told the defense that the events he described to the prosecutors earlier today, setting up the freak-offs, obtaining drugs, etc., made up about 1% of the work that Perez did for Diddy. During cross, Brian Steele, his lawyer, he asked if Mr. Combs was a motivator. "He is," Perez replied. "He'd have motivational postings on his bathroom," Steele continued. "Yes," Perez replied. "At times, he was sad. You've seen him cry?" ? Steele asked before showing something to Perez. "I can't remember if he was crying, but this does remind me that he was upset," Diddy's former assistant replied. "Even if he did cry, he's still a monster. For all I know, they could have been tears of manipulation." Oh my God. Oh my God. Clearly leading the witness, defense attorney said that in a question mark phrase, asking the former assistant about why he did all of the things to help him prepare and clean up for the King Nights. "You just did it because you're a nice person?" Steele asked. "Yes," Perez testified. Are we sure that Perez is not a witness for the defense? The prosecution called him. He's one of their witnesses. Perez said that Diddy and others close to him never told him not to speak about King Nights or drugs. The former assistant confirmed that they only told him to tell the truth. Perez also told the jury that he never saw Diddy strike a woman or anyone else. Perez said that he was aware that his boss was dating multiple women. However, he told the jury that he did not hear Jane argue with his boss about the other women. Jane testified that she did regularly. The defense tried to paint Jane as an extremely jealous woman who was less upset about the freak-offs with Diddy than she was about his relationship with other women. Diddy shook his head after the jury heard that he was so useless with technology that he needed help to connect a Bluetooth. Brian Steele asked his former assistant, Jonathan Perez, about Diddy's tech proficiency. Perez said he was not the most proficient when it came to tech. He would need help connecting to Bluetooth, asked Steele. Perez said yes, prompting Diddy to shake his head. Steele then said, "It's pretty elementary." His own lawyer, "I'm not insulting him." Diddy shook his head again. Why waste time with that? What are they trying to get out of that moment? Perez said that he would use the company card to buy personal items for Diddy and Jane at sex stores. And Perez testified that he doesn't know whether those charges on the card were paid off with company funds or Diddy's personal money. Remember, Diddy needed to have incorporated in many ways his business operation with the alleged criminal activity in order to get these charges against him, guilty verdicts on them. Steele showed the jury a series of texts from different times throughout Jonathan Perez's employment in which Jane talked to Perez before and after King Nights. In some texts, they planned for King Nights, including packing items like underwear, and in other messages, they discussed tasks for Perez to do for her or Diddy. Steele asked Jonathan to confirm that on all those occasions, she doesn't seem upset in the messages. He confirmed that. After the defense was done with Diddy's former assistant, it was time for redirect from the prosecution. Perez testified that personal errands were part of his job. Wonderful that they got that clear. The prosecutor asked, "Did you set up those King Nights for free?" "No," Perez told the jury. "Who told you to set up the King Nights?" "KK," Perez testified, referring to the despicable Christina Coram, his former chief of staff. That was a wrap on him and the jury for the day. The judge told the jurors to enjoy their weekend with customary instructions not to talk about anything from the case with anyone and to turn off news notifications. For more than 2 hours after the jury was dismissed, the court remained open and the judge and defense and prosecution were going through a long list of exhibits the government wants to enter into evidence before next week. Most of these exhibits are messages involving Christina Coram. Prosecutors also revealed they have just 5 witnesses left and they will wrap up things this coming week. Those witnesses include 3 paralegals, a law enforcement agent, and Diddy's former drug mule, Brendan Paul. Remember him? Brendan Paul was arrested with drugs in his bag last March at the airport in Miami as he was about to get on a private plane with Diddy. The arrest happened as his homes in Los Angeles were being raided by the feds. A few months ago, the charges for drugs against Paul were dropped after he completed a diversion program. Aww. All right, my fam, that is everything from the Diddy trial today and this week. Thoughts? Let's discuss everything in the comments section.